What is up, everybody? Aaron the Dog here, back with Brandon of MMA Wagers. The only difference, it is now the Aaron the Dog MMA channel that we are going to be doing our breakdowns from.
Look at the background already, guys. Look at the background. How professional that is.
I made it myself in a very short amount of time, to be honest. As you can see, we had the old StreamYard intro today. So the intros and graphics, all that stuff will come with time. But the thing that we're really all here for, the breakdown show. So we're here to break down
money.
Yeah, make money. People, I don't think, really care if I have a cool logo or if I have a – they're here for content, information. Yeah, I've done my best to try to spread the word ahead of time here, but basically, welcome. Little overview of what I'm hoping this channel will be if this is your first time watching or you're interested. I'm basically looking for like-minded individuals like myself who are knowledgeable about the sport, respect the sport, and look at the sport from their perspective. Passion is my number one concern with my channel. Passion, respect are my number one, and number
dogs.
two, and dogs, of course. You will over time hear dogs. But
I got mine right here, but she's playing. So
I've got 6 or 7 dogs in here. They're all sleeping now, but we'll see in an hour or so. But yeah, we're here for Bellator 260. Maybe the best Bellator card so far since they've been back. And ironically, it's with fans. And, I'm not a huge hype person, as most people who know me will know. But I'm kind of – the fact that this fight is not getting spoken about at all, Yaroslav Amosov and Douglas Lima in the main event I'm talking about here.
Well, I think it's because there's a PFL and a UFC this week. It's just MMA madness. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and this is one of these fights for Amosov, or for Yaroslav, I should say, where if he wins this, he's going to be on everybody's maps and then some. I think And I think if Douglas Lima wins this, he just gets to solidify himself as one of the 5 best welterweights in the world still.
If he wins that fight, he's better than a UFC fighter. I hate how they compare Bellator and UFC. It's
inevitable. But I don't really have a problem with it that much. I mean, it's a little different than a lot of sports. But I mean, NBA EuroLeaguers get compared to each other forever. I mean, it's just kind of part of the tribalism that comes with. I don't really have a problem with that, especially since so many fighters cross over one way or another, and we've now seen examples of UFC fighters going to one and failing.
Demarcus Johnson, Alvarez.
Eddie Alvarez is who I'm thinking of specifically. The tweets he's
starting garbage, but he got paid good money, so good on him. I'm happy.
Right, and I mean, either way, what my channel is about is, my first breakdown on this channel is a Bellator breakdown. I mean, I am here to break down Bellator. PFL in the future will be broken down as well. Might have some thoughts at the end for you on a few fighters, particularly I like in some spots, but just working on getting the channel and everything together, that didn't happen. But in the future, PFL breakdowns will be on here. LFA breakdowns for sure will be on here. LFA breakdowns are one of my favorite organizations to break down.
They got a bit of a break, eh? Did you hear?
Yeah, they got a little break, but they'll come back, and they'll come back strong. So
July 10th. Or sorry, July let me see here. July 2nd is their next one. July
2nd. So I mean, it's already the middle of June almost, but either way, Terrence McKinney getting ready to debut this weekend. We'll talk about his fight. I'll talk about his fight tomorrow. All of my UFC breakdowns will be joined as allowed by Brian Battle, who's currently competing on The Ultimate Fighter this year as a middleweight. So big things coming from him regardless. But been doing breakdowns with him before on previous channels, and just looking forward to taking a little bit of building the team over here. Brandon, of course, always doing his thing at MMA Wagers, and I'll let him get into what he does here in a minute too. But people like Brandon are going to be joining me on these breakdowns for the most part. Let's just give the people kind of a little bit of a preview into who you are and what you kind of offer outside of maybe this.
Man, I've just been an MMA fan for 10 plus years. I think I bet my dad on John Jones for Shogun Hua. And when my dad gave me that $20, I was hooked. I'm like, man, I might know what I'm talking about here. Because John Jones totally demolished him. It was so easy. And,
good call on that John Jones guy.
Yeah, that John Jones guy. Ever since then, so however many years that was, I've been intrigued with in MMA. The past 2 years, I think I've been the most intrigued with it. Like, I've been keeping up with everything. I'm trying to keep up with even like ACA, KSW is a big one. Like, there's not only North American promotions. There's a big European MMA image out there too. So yeah, I just digest myself with everything. Even bare knuckle submission underground with Chael Sonnen. I'm all aboard. And I heard Aaron didn't watch Floyd Mayweather versus Logan Paul. He doesn't even know who won. You can't give a good predict. You can't give a good.
That's the last that will be mentioned on my channel. First of all, I'm an MMA guy. Second of all, I don't really care about hype. I'll
watch Floyd Mayweather because he's one of my favorite boxers.
But either way, for the longest time I didn't know which Paul was which. I still don't really. If you put them next to each other, I genuinely wouldn't. But I didn't know which Paul was like.
Woodley versus Jake Paul. Will you be watching?
No. I don't think there's any sort of appeal to watching Tyron Woodley box after he's thrown a total of 5 punches in his last 5 fights. So.
He's just trying to get some notoriety. He's trying to get
and if you look at I'm good on that. But
let's skip this. What do we got for Bellator 260? It's actually a good card.
Bellator 260, the split screen has made its way over here.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's the same breakdowns at the end of the day. It's just that I think that this channel makes a little more sense for it on all accounts, and that's what I'll say about that. But we'll try to get
fighters that are actually fighting on the cards to join us with these prediction videos. I was going to reach out to a couple today, but because it's our inaugural video, let's just keep it simple.
Exactly. Definitely we'll add things as we go. And another thing that is definitely very exciting is guys like Fernando Padilla and others, Jillian the Savage Robertson. Those fighters, those are my people. They came with me. My people follow me where I go. And I love those people.
What about your girlfriend? You can't.
Oh yeah, and of course, Bunny. Of course, the Dog and Bunny show will make its continuation. I can never forget about Boston Comments. Comments, you already know.
Last week, she called a lot of dogs.
She called a lot of dogs and hit a lot of dogs. And
not Alan Patrick, but she got her money back. So
but. Either way, Tony's here. What up, Tony? Good to see you, man. Alec Miller, who Alec definitely will be joining me on some future breakdowns. An awesome analyst himself. Drop the name of your channel down there, Alec. I just got 10 million other things going on, but Alec, appreciate you being here as well. But we are on to the thing that everybody's here for. 9 minutes in, but Bellator 260 taking place with fans. First Bellator with fans.
Where's it being where's the event taking place?
It's in like their home away from home, that place in Connecticut. The Mohegan Sun. The Mohegan Sun in Connecticut, Unkinsville. I never know how to say the city it is, but it's in Connecticut. Bellator just loves Connecticut for whatever reason. It's probably really cheap to put on shows there, I assume. And so they just live it up. But
I've never been to Connecticut, so I don't know.
It's just a highway between New York and the rest of the world, really. But taking place Friday, June 11th, live from Connecticut. And we start out with one of the fighters who's going to be definitely making appearances on this channel, faced Alex Polizzi and Julius Anglickas. Definitely will be making some appearances on here. And Julius is definitely a contender to reckon in the 205 division. But this is Alex Polizzi's first fight since that fight. He's taking on Gustavo Trujillo, the Cuban assassin, who Gustavo, I'll be honest, I was able to find more bare knuckle highlights than MMA highlights. But, shout out to the Cuban Assassin. That's a great nickname. 28 years old, 6'2", 78.5-inch reach for the 28-year-old on a 2-fight MMA win streak, 3-1 overall. Trains out Fusion XL in Florida. So definitely hasn't faced anybody I've recognized within MMA. I do recognize Rob Morrow and Lorenzo Hunt from bare knuckle. Rob Morrow particularly, I believe, has MMA experience. I'm not sure about Lorenzo Hunt. But, I mean, this guy, he's very dangerous on the feet. You see first-round finishes in, obviously, his bare knuckle fights, but also in his last MMA fight. And I was able to find footage of it as well. Has finished all 3 of his MMA fights, has a triangle finish as well. But honestly, I think that for Polizzi, Denzel Freeman had some fortune in the wrestling and cage control. That's how I feel Alex Polizzi fights just about everybody he fights at this point. It's very wrestling-centric. And with Julius Anglickas, Julius was way too big, way too good at wrestling, and way too well-rounded. And it ended up kind of exposing a little bit of the hole in Alex Polizzi's game as a more undersized, grappling-centric 205er. He's only 6 foot, 73-inch reach, weighs in at around 203, I think, in his last fight, too. So that's always telling for me when a light heavyweight is not making that limit, especially against a very large light heavyweight in Julius Anglickas. I felt the size was the number one issue in the grappling there. I think if they were the same structure, skill-wise, maybe Polizzi would have had some luck there. But Julius was so big and so close in skill, I think that it canceled that out. Definitely has some decent power, but I think slows down a little bit as the fight goes on as well. But here has got kind of a tailor-made opponent, in my opinion. Pretty one-dimensional as long as he doesn't get tagged on the feet. I think Polizzi gets this fight down in each of the rounds it does go. It will either be a submission, like an arm triangle type of finish, or a pretty clear decision here for Polizzi. But I like Polizzi.
Yeah, Alex Polizzi should for sure win this fight. Like, he's definitely the fighter to lose here, however that expression is.
Yeah.
Alex
the fighter
Polizzi,
with something to lose here. Yeah.
Yeah, he's only lost to Julius Anglickas, and we know how good he is. He was on our podcast in the past. And I love Alex Polizzi. I actually bet him against Julius, and it backfired. But I'm still going to stick on the train because that was a circumstance where I didn't realize how good his counterpart was in that fight with Julius. Alex Polizzi is still an NCAA D1 wrestler. He's got knockouts. He's got submissions. He's only got 1 decision, so he is a finisher. And he's faced better competition than Gustavo. Gustavo is a bare knuckle fighter. He did get 2 knockouts in that promotion. It's a totally different sport. You can't really compare it to MMA. I see Gustavo getting just wrestle fucked here, and probably for 3 rounds. And I'm going to say 30-27, Alex Polizzi.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah, I think you're probably right there. I could see a second or third round arm
They're
triangle.
both in the prime of their careers, though. Even though
and Gustavo
looks like he's 38.
Right, exactly. And we never know what the Cuban age is. We never know.
Fighters. Yeah.
But I mean, there's no doubt he's got dangerous hands. I mean, you can watch those. And I get it, bare knuckle is not MMA, but you can see. I mean, he throws fast and hard and accurate. It is just kind of interesting.
But if you've ever watched Bellator, fighters are going to take people down and just hold them down. They don't care about being entertaining.
Right, and it's like I get he has a triangle choke, but his triangle choke was over a 0-0 opponent. Yeah, I just think Polizzi. I don't think Polizzi is gonna. And I don't mind Polizzi's parlay price. I think a lot of people got scared and don't realize how good Anglickas is, so maybe it kept it a little bit lower. But minus 275 to minus 240, I'm finding it. It is. Bad. There is money coming in, and a few sites also have it minus 300. So I do think the money keeps coming in. But Gustavo's got a puncher's chance. He's finished all 3 of his opponents, all 5 of his opponents in combat sports as a pro. So I mean, there is that there, but I don't think Polizzi's shown that hole in his game exactly. He's just shown that once he gets stuffed in the wrestling, he kind of doesn't have a really backup plan. So if Gustavo does stuff the wrestling, I mean, then Polizzi, the odds shift completely because I think on the feet, Gustavo does have an advantage.
Polizzi should be minus 500 in my opinion.
Right, but it's just a loss against a guy that people mostly know as a guy who lost won unimpressively on the Contender Series. Like for whatever reason, sometimes
and
these
we're going
guys
to be talking about a Contender Series fighter coming up that lost not unimpressively, but let me just check. Where is he?
Yeah,
Was it Justin Gonzalez? Yeah, the Justin Gonzalez fight. We're going to be coming
exactly.
up.
And just a heads up, I'll give my official picks because Brandon does, work as a consultant and offer his picks as a service. He's going to give kind of his thoughts on the fight, and then we'll move on from there. It'll cut down a little bit.
Who I'm picking though in this fight.
Right, exactly. That's up to you to hold your hand close, but
no prop bets.
It'll cut down a little. Right, we'll cut down a little bit of the time, and if you want more information from Brandon, I'll let him provide that at the end here. This next fight here is a decent 145 fight, although I'm not quite sure, but I do like Amanda Bell. I know she's 7-7, but I mean she's fought a ton of really good competition, and she's just a gamer. She's one of these.
I'll let you keep going, man. I'll be right back.
Yeah, she's okay. No problem. She's one of these names.
My dog's gonna co-host for a second.
Yeah, absolutely. All dogs are allowed on the podcast. But Amanda Bell, known as the Lady Killer, fantastic nickname, taking on Marina Mokhtankina. Believe it or not, she's Russian. Of course she is. I'll break down Marina first. 4-2, 33-year-old Russian, 5'6", 65.5-inch reach, fighting out Sambo Peter in Russia. Coming off of 2 straight losses to Liana Jojua, who is now in the UFC, although she's had some struggles in there, but she does have 1 win. And Janae Harding, the Australian, she lost a decision to in Bellator back in March of 2019. Harding just came off a really good fight against Leah McCourt, where Harding got submitted. But 2 good fights before that. Was undefeated as a pro. 4-0. Her 4 fights. Her last one was against a Karine Silva, where she won by knee bar. Karine Silva was 9-2 at the time. Definitely her most solid win to date. And with Karine Silva, just curious, she has continued to fight. She actually lost her next fight as well by decision, but since then has rattled off 4 straight wins. So interesting to see what comes from Karine Silva, but seems like a decent win for sure for Marina. And she won by armbar. She's won by Achilles lock or knee bar. She's won by armbar twice and leg locks twice as well. So definitely grappling centric. Was supposed to take on Jessica Borga. However, Jessica Borga, I believe, had to pull out of that fight, and now Amanda Bell steps in. Amanda Bell, 7-7, the Lady Killer. Big fan, though, really tough. Game opponent always. Only 32 years old, yet definitely a veteran in the sport. 5'8", 70-inch reach, so she's going to have a 3.5-inch reach advantage fighting out Warrior Camp. Warrior Camp MMA, 7-7, coming off a loss to Leslie Smith back in September of last year. Really good fight, though. Both had their moments. Both really threw down. Always cool to see a meeting of 2 MMA veteran pioneers in Leslie and Amanda. Amanda Morton held her own. The common opponent of Janae Harding, Amanda Bell knocked out with ground and pound towards the end of the 3rd round. So really showed some good gas as well. Lost to another solid veteran in Arlene Blencow. She's been with Bellator for 6 fights now. Amanda, she has lost by submission to Talita Noguera an undefeated Brazilian. And she also lost to Faith Mikma, another solid MMA fighter, and Charmaine Tweet, all solid. But she has lost
Canadian.
by
Canadian Charmaine Tweet.
Yeah, that was back in 2013. In their second MMA fight. Her second MMA fight, she's fought Jessamine Duke as an amateur, Taylor Guardado, who we saw.
Taylor Guardado.
Yeah, Taylor Guardado, who we saw how good she was. Brittany Elkin, who's getting ready to fight over in PFL against Clarissa Shields. Marina Shafir.
She fought her twice, I believe.
Yeah, Marina Shafir, Gabrielle Holloway. She beat Brittany twice. I mean, she's fought really solid competition throughout her pro career here as well. Marina's got some very impressive grappling wins, and that does seem to be a potential weak spot. I think this is a really good fight here. I'm going to lean with Amanda Bell. I just like the level of competition, her activity level. Coming off a fight with Leslie Smith, I think is going to be huge things. Leslie Smith I still rate her as a high caliber opponent, even though she's up in her age a little bit. But I'm going to take Amanda Bell. 7-7. It's always, a little nerve wracking. It's really, is this fight on the feet or is this a grappling affair? If it is a grappling affair, I think Marina subs her. If it's on the feet, I think that Amanda knocks her out. Yeah. I don't say that about a lot of women's fights where it's both sides finish, but what are your thoughts on this matchup? I like this matchup a lot.
What is this, 125?
It is 145, I believe.
Oh, but it's a featherweight fight.
Yeah, because it's 145, so this is a solid featherweight fight as well.
Man, I can't believe Marina, like the expectations she had going into her MMA debut, everybody thought she was going to be something special. You know what I mean? Like making her Bellator debut. I believe she was like a minus 225 favorite, and she lost to Janae Harding, and Janae Harding is like, no offense to Janae Harding, but I just don't think she's the best MMA fighter. Like she was beating Leah McCourt before that triangle, but it's also I had money on freaking Janae Harding, and and Leah McCourt.
I had money on Leah. I had money on Leah, so we're both aware. And Amanda Bell knocked out Janae Harding, although with 16 seconds left in the fight, but still the common opponent, Amanda Bell, dominated that fight beforehand too.
Yep. And that just shows you that Amanda Bell is very reliable in those later rounds. We don't know about Marina. Like, she's lost 2 decisions, and all her wins have come in round 1. So
sub 2-minute submissions too.
Yeah, she is coming off a long layoff, so I'm hoping she has sharpened those weaknesses in her game. Hopefully she's worked on her cardio. Hopefully she's worked on her striking, because she's pretty much like a sub or done fighter. Like it's hard to back her. She's from Russia. She's like a 6-time world champion in Sambo, 2-time European champion in Sambo, 8-time Russian champion in Sambo. So she has those accolades, but in MMA, sometimes those one-dimensional martial arts don't transfer the best in a full MMA game. So even though Amanda Bell's 7-7, I honestly, I'm not going to be confident in either one of these girls, but Amanda Bell should get this done.
Yeah, and it's nearly a straight pick 'em on most sites. There is money starting to come in on Amanda Bell. She's becoming like a minus 130 on some, but
that's kind of like Joanne Calderwood and Lauren Murphy. People are betting Joanne Calderwood right now,
which I will talk about tomorrow, but I'm not on that side.
Are you going to be with Brian Battle?
I will be with Brian Battle tomorrow. Right. Brian of The Ultimate Fighter will be back on. He's been Mr. Busy. He's been talking to Iridium Sports Agency and all this, but he's going to be back. I can't wait. I've missed doing my breakdowns with him, but that will be
7:30, right?
It will be at a special later time tomorrow because he does have a later practice, so it will be at 9 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow. But I'll be making a post and everything. But Brian Battle of The Ultimate Fighter will be joining me in the future other Team Volkanovski members will be joining the channel as well.
Maybe you guys can do live reactions of PFL.
Yeah, this is like the unofficial Team Volkanovski channel as well. So,
I love Volkanovski, man. I'm a bigger fan of Volkanovski than Brian Ortega.
Yeah, definitely. But Amanda Bell, minus 130, minus 105 on Marina Macantina, which I said the name right for the first time ever. So that is great. But it feels really good when you say that name right. Next fight at 145 as well, but this is in the men's division. 4-0, Lucas Brennan getting what we call in the business a squash matchup. Taking on Matthew Sklebicki.
He just accepted my friend request, actually.
Matthew Sklebicki did?
Yep.
Okay, well, you don't have to say anything. I'll say things here. Matthew Sklebicki is 26 years old, has that salty 4-3 record on a 3-fight losing streak. And what do? They give him 4-0 rising prospect, Canadian prospect, correct?
Yep. Oh, no. No, I don't think so.
No, Lucas Brennan's not Canadian. Okay, I don't know. We wore the red shorts.
No, Texas
not even close. Sorry, it was the red shorts Lucas wore last time. But Matthew Sklebicki,
he did miss weight his last fight. You got to mention that.
What's that?
Oh, Lucas Brennan did miss weight his last fight.
Yeah, correct. But with Sklebicki, 3 straight losses. Last one by referee stoppage in between rounds. The one before that, rear naked choke. I won't spend a ton of time on this one just because I do think this is Bellatoring a little bit. But Lucas Brennan is 21, first of all. So he was born in June 3rd of 2000. He just turned 21. Featherweight who missed weight in his last fight at 148. 5'10", 71, really big featherweight. Not going to be able to make that weight for much longer and very well could miss weight here again. And when he missed weight, he wasn't able to finish a 6-4 opponent, Andrew Salas, who was pretty overwhelmed in that fight, though, taken down routinely. Beat Will Smith with ground and pound. Will Smith had a big win in his last fight, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly. Will Smith. No, he fought. Oh, he should have beat John Duma, but he got robbed in that fight. That's right. So Will Smith, definitely an impressive guy to finish because Duma was not able to finish him, and Lucas really imposed his grappling. Overall, I think Lucas takes him down and gets him submitted or ground and pound. I'll take the submission for Lucas Brennan. But the odds are ridiculous. Minus 900 to minus 1,000 on a 21-year-old who has trouble making weight is not my bag.
Yeah, that's a little extreme. Even though
any other thoughts?
3 losses. One of them was a split, and you don't know how good these guys are. Justin Vasquez and Michael Imperato.
Sounds like Michael Imperioli from The Sopranos.
Yeah,
but
it's not that. And he's a Canadian too, so.
Right. Andy accepted your friend request, so you can't really say. If you have nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all.
Well, no, I've literally never seen Matthew fight before. Lucas, I've seen fight twice, and he's looked very well-rounded. He's looked like up-and-comer. He's undefeated in Bellator. He's one of those fighters that Bellator is backing, thinking he's going to be a hot prospect soon. Like you said, not a squash match, but like a stepping stone, maybe.
It sure feels like it. It sure feels like a squash match to me. 3 straight losses. I'm not sure the justification to sign him with Bellator and then put him up against this incredibly highly touted.
And he's going to be outsized too because he was fighting at bantamweight his last few fights.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, 3 straight. They're like, hey, you want to step up? Like I get that sometimes this is not even a Zach Freeman level of opponent against Aaron Pico, which obviously shouldn't be quite at that level. Yeah, he's only 4-0 and 21 years old. The biggest problem is he a featherweight? That's the real question that I think it's we still got to ask ourselves.
It reminds me of Tabitha Ritchie versus that very good French woman, Manon Farrow.
Manon Farrow, Tabitha was tough in that fight, but Manon is really good. Manon just got another
Tabitha
fight.
Ritchie might be top 5 hottest woman MMA fighters.
Yeah,
But maybe that's for a different podcast.
That's for and maybe probably for a different channel. But
top 5 female and male hottest fighters coming up.
Great. Yeah, I got my male list all set. Probably, unfortunately, quicker than my female list. Probably.
Richie is definitely 5 on my list.
Yeah, she's really she's something.
But I hope they match her up with like a winnable opponent at 115 because
they will.
Like, why would they do that to her? Why?
Yeah. So sad. She did. She took the fight. Next fight here is at 155. We got the return of Nick Newell taking on.
If he can make it. If he can make the fight.
Right. If he can make the fight. Taking on Bobby King, which this guy is very difficult.
Never heard of him.
Bobby King is very difficult to find tape on because every time you search for him, Bobby Green stuff comes up. So
Bobby King Green.
Right. His tape is very well hidden. 37-year-old, 5'9", 71 and a half inch reach, 9-3 on a 3-fight win streak, fighting out of Koa Kingdom. Not familiar with it, but he's from Utah. The hotbed of MMA. He is coming off of an armbar win of Steven Seiler in the 4th round of his last fight.
That's surprising. That was in Steven Seiler. I'm like, what? He got an armbar in Steven Seiler? Wow.
Yeah, and that was in February, late February of this year. So, about 3-month turnaround. Seems to be in a good rhythm right now. Has a loss in LFA to Fabio Serrao. Definitely was a late starter in MMA. Got started around 32. It appears 32 years old. So definitely a late starter. Has some KOs, has some armbar and grappling finishes as well. He has been finished by KO twice. That is not how Nick Newell is going to win this fight if he does. Nick Newell is a grappler, and obviously Nick Newell known for his having his left arm or left hand missing. That's kind of one of the most notable things of him. 35 years old now, weighed in at 159.8 for his last fight. So there's definitely that. Lost a split decision to a 10-6 Manny Muro. Definitely seems to be slowing down a little bit here. And most of his wins all of his wins in the last 3 to 4 years have come by quick submission finish. So I think if it isn't able to get to the ground and it's a stand-up affair, I believe Bobby King should be able to survive these grappling, maybe even have the advantage and be on top at points, and on the feet it's Bobby King for me. So I'm going to take Bobby King here. I believe he is a slight dog last I checked as well. But it's 37-year-old versus a 35-year-old at 155. So either guy could, or both guys could really, by the 3rd round, be dragging, in my opinion.
Yeah. I think Nick Newell's they're trying to set him up with an opponent that he can beat. He's from Connecticut, where they're holding the fights. Uncasville? Sorry.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is.
I'm not sure how you say it. Yeah.
Yeah. And Nick Newell's, he's definitely the hometown favorite. You said there's going to be fans, so they're going to be going crazy for Nick Newell when he comes out, if it even happens, because he's been scheduled for a few fights and they fell out just like Tom Breeze last weekend. Like, you can never trust fighters like Nick Newell, unfortunately, because of his history.
Tom Breeze is a tragic MMA case.
Yeah, you can never trust Tom Breeze. If you're making DraftKings, do not even put him on your DraftKings lineup. Save you the worry. And I think Bobby King's like a Alan Jovan kind of, starting a little late in his career. He's had some good knockout finishes. He looks like he looks like a good-looking guy, to be honest. Like he could be a model too. So
I think that Bellator is going to be okay with whoever wins this fight.
And but the experience difference is definitely on Nick Newell. This is going to be his 20th professional fight, and he's a decorated wrestler. Bobby King, I don't know about his wrestling accolades, but he's definitely an opportunistic finisher.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, this is going to be a good scrap, man. Whenever Nick Newell's fighting, I'm going to be tuning in.
Yeah, so Bobby Green is the plus 140 favorite I'm finding on some sites. Plus 115, plus 135 on others. Nick Newell up to minus 200 on certain sites, minus 160 on others, minus 135. This is definitely, I think, one of those fights you're
that
shot.
Nick Newell was minus 800 his last fight, and he lost.
Yeah, I mean, I have to imagine I'd bet on the underdog if I bet that fight.
Yeah, minus 800, guys. Like, no wonder he's down to minus 200, and even at that price, it's hard to trust him.
Yeah,
But
especially.
I've also never heard of Bobby King until researching him the other day.
Yeah,
so
it's completely fair point. But yeah, we'll move on here. We're definitely getting to one of my favorite prelims fight, or one of my favorite fights on the entire card. Another featherweight fight, or another featherweight fight here, between Taiwan Claxton and Justin Gonzalez. This is an awesome fight. Justin Gonzalez, first of all, could enter a stunt double competition to not only look like Justin Gaethje, but kind of fights like young Justin Gaethje here. Does he not look like Justin Gaethje? Am I crazy
with
here?
Tattoos, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, Justin with tattoos. Like, even the look on his face. J-Train is who we're going to talk about first here out of Greeley, Colorado. 11-0.
His fans. If you reach out to him, he'll reach back.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he's very personable. I'm sure we'll talk to him very soon here on the channel. But J-Train, 30 years old, fighting out of Greeley, Colorado, 5'10", 72-inch reach, fighting out top-notch MMA. Last fight was over in our promotion of LFA, where he finished Jake Childers in the 4th round of a really good scrappy fight, finishing with knees and punches. Really impressive. Before that, got a decision win over Zach Zane on the Contender Series. Some said it was a little bit underwhelming, but I thought it was a good fight. The Bruno Ferreira fight was really impressive to me. Go back and watch that. Really good knockout as well. He's definitely kind of a brawler wrestler type. Uses his wrestling a lot more than Justin Gaethje, but I mean, I kind of said that comparison before, but that's who it kind of reminds me of in a big way. And he's taking on a really, really good, solid athlete all around in Taiwan, Eric Claxton, 6-2, Bellator staple, only 28 years old, 5'8", 74.5-inch reach. I believe has a reach advantage. Wrestled at Ohio University, fighting out of Elevation Fight Team. Really good camp there. Was his own head coach for, I believe, the first 5 or 6 fights of his career. I believe he's his own head coach going into the Emmanuel Sanchez fight as well. So that's crazy. Did lose that fight by triangle. Rebounded with a win over Braden Akio by decision, and then had a really close split decision loss to J.J. Wilson. First of all, we've seen how good J.J. Wilson is now. Also, J.J. Wilson missed weight by, I believe, 6 pounds in that fight. So that's a huge, huge difference. And it was a split decision that really could have went either way. And now Justin Gonzalez, I think this is a really close matchup. But, I mean, I think Taiwan Claxton is very underrated. And coming into this fight with a huge opportunity to take an O from a 11-0 guy with a decent amount of hype, in my opinion. I think technically and on the speed, it's Taiwan Claxton here. I do believe his wrestling is commiserate to Justin's as well. So I really like both guys a lot. I like this fight. I think it's a super close fight. We got a 28-year-old versus a 30-year-old. Team Elevation has been on fire lately, though. I think Taiwan Claxton going there, I believe this is his 2nd or 3rd camp there. Before that, he was his own head coach for his entire career, which is just nuts for him to get to where he got with that. I like Taiwan Claxton, though. Very close fight, possibly a 29-28 type of decision. But give me Taiwan Claxton.
You might always freaking your dog out with the squeaks. But yeah, this is a really competitive fight, man. Like, you can't really be confident on either side in this fight because they both shine in that one area, wrestling. And it kind of comes down to who's going to be the better wrestler and control time, who's going to surprise the other fighter with maybe different strikes. Justin Gonzalez is definitely the more experienced fighter. I know he's making his Bellator debut, but if you dig into his record, he's 9-0 as an amateur, 11-0 as a professional. He's never tasted defeat. It's hard to doubt fighters that have never lost, especially that many times. 20 times in MMA and you haven't lost, like that's crazy, man. It's not like boxing. In MMA, there's so many different ways to win and lose, and stepping into the cage 20 times without losing says a lot. I know he's making his Bellator debut. If you're a fan of SCL, I don't know what SCL stands for, but he's 9-0 in SCL. So if you've been following SCL, he's like the name. He's the name of that promotion. He's even got a WSOF amateur championship. So yeah, I like Taiwan Claxton. I actually thought JJ Silva won that 29-28. I didn't. I did bet Taiwan, and I thought I didn't win this bet. As soon as it hit the judges' scorecards, I'm like, there's no way I won this. But
I think it was one of those where sometimes the judges punish the guy who misses weight so badly that it's like, which I'm okay with a little bit, but yeah, I think JJ missed weight by 6 pounds for that fight, if I'm not mistaken.
140. I have it here.
Okay.
Taiwan Claxton faced JJ Wilson missed by 148, so it was only 2 pounds.
So 2 pounds.
Well, okay. Wilson's missed weight in the past, so maybe combined he's missed 8 pounds altogether.
Yeah, but either way, that was my mistake.
But I'm really excited for this fight, man. It's like
Me too.
You think Taiwan Claxton is a vet, but he's really not. If you dig into his record, he's not a vet. And Justin is gonna. Is his name Justin? Yeah, Justin. I thought it was Chris Gonzalez for a second. I was gonna get Chris Gonzalez on this podcast, but that's not his brother or anything. But yeah, Justin. When I did research on him, I'm like, this guy is probably gonna win. So I don't know. It's gonna be a good fight, and may the best man win.
The odds are super close. Pick them on a lot of sites. -110 for Claxton. It looks like Claxton is the slight slight underdog, maybe a -105, maybe an even money. But this is going to be really close. Again, Elevation Fight Team, I'm a huge fan of right now. And I've got to imagine getting ready with guys like Justin Gaethje, in all seriousness, really do get you ready for a guy like Justin Gonzalez. I mean, it's an incredible training partner. We know that Justin has been very active over at Team Elevation this entire time he's been, kind of off. So I just like these things to go with Claxton for me. So I'm going to
Taiwan's best win, if you had to say.
What is his best win?
Yeah.
I just got so I would say, first of all, he's only lost to very good competition, but his best win is Chris Lencioni, probably.
Thank you. Yes, Aaron. Your MMA, because that's definitely his best win.
Yeah,
Chris Lencioni is no slouch.
Right, and just regardless, a split decision with Jay Wilson when we saw how good he's been doing lately is just also no slouch. So
you just know what Taiwan's gonna do, and that scares me because Justin knows what he's gonna do too. It's so obvious. So
so it will be it's an interesting one. We're gonna learn a lot about both guys. Next fight at 170 here. This is an interesting fight. Kyle Krutschmer, I believe, or Kyle Krutschmer. Kyle Krutschmer, I apologize. Oklahoma State, two-time.
What the hell happened? I think you might be muted.
No, can you hear me?
Or is it my end?
I think it's on your end, because I'm good.
I don't hear you, buddy. I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
Come in and out. So Brandon will be right with us. It's a good old first channel, first day. So, but here he comes back in. And can you hear me, buddy? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Yo. Can you hear me?
I don't know what's going on, man. Hello. Okay, I'll try to not use my mic. Maybe it's my mic.
If anybody's listening, can they let me know? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Any luck? All right, I'll come out and come back in.
Hello? What's going on, people? We're trying to get this breakdown finished.
Any luck?
Kyle Krutschmer. Krutschmer coming up.
Okay, so
I can't hear you, but you can hear me.
They said they can hear you. They said they can hear it, so you need to like.
I don't know, man. Like, well, I don't know what to do.
It's on your end.
I'm gonna shut my laptop off. Reset.
Okay. So sorry about that, everybody. It's just part of the channel here. So Kyle Krutschmer versus let me just get it back up here real quick. Versus Levon Chokili out of Georgia. And I appreciate the comment trying to help us here. Thank you. Me to me free. Thank you for appreciate it. But anyways, I'll keep going. Hopefully Brandon can rejoin us, but we carry on. Kyle Krutschmer, the Oklahoma State wrestling product, taking on Levon Chokili. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, man.
Excellent.
I just had to turn my laptop off. I don't know. Okay. That's never happened before.
Yeah, that is a new one. But Levon, I'm just going to go into Levon Chokili now, the Georgia product, 24 years old, 9-0, another undefeated record. Bellator really going out and getting these undefeated guys from all over the world, and I frankly really love it. It's very exciting. 6'1", good size at welterweight. Here, and coming off a no contest against a Conrad Dirachika. I don't really know what happened with that fight. It was a 10-1 fighter he was taking on. It was at welterweight. Before that, had a quick stoppage of Isa Isakov, an undefeated guy, really cracked him and put him away. Had a quick stoppage again. All of his fights have ended in the first round, and all of them have ended in 4 minutes or less. Hasn't really face a ton of competition. However, frankly, I don't know any of the names on this list, and very few of them were grapplers that I could tell from what I was able to find. With Kyle Krutschmer, two-time national wrestling champion at Oklahoma State, 28 years old, very short, 5'8", 68-inch reach. So there's a 7.5-inch reach disadvantage there for Kyle. We saw in his last fight taking on it is Cameron Lachinov of The Ultimate Fighter. Last pick on The Ultimate Fighter.
What the hell?
I think, frankly, the last two picks might be the finalists, so I don't really think that means much.
I don't understand, man. It might have been the attitude on him where he doesn't speak English, maybe.
Brian was the second to last pick, and I think that's foolish as well. But with Kyle before that, had looked really good. Had anaconda choke in his second Bellator fight, a dominant wrestling decision in his first fight. Hadn't faced a ton of great competition, though. 4-4, 6-6, 4-3, 11-9. Lost to Cameron. The fight was close, but at one point, Cameron puts his hands down and lets Kyle, strike, put his best strikes together. They don't do anything, and then Kyle stops and starts backing up. Kyle definitely is a wrestler, but it seems like
best punch and didn't even flinch.
Right. It seems like the other aspects of his MMA game have yet to come through here. It's all about, can Levon stop the takedowns of Kyle? Because that's it. It's a wrestler versus a striker who's very dangerous though in Levon. I've been back and forth on this one. I'm gonna hold strong on Kyle for now, but not betting this one, not confident on this one, but I'll take the world-class wrestling.
Yeah, this is similar to Alex Polizzi versus Gustavo Trujillo. We got a decorated wrestler versus a very dangerous striker. So if Kyle implements his game plan, he should win this. Like, Levon's never even been past the first round. If you look at his record, he's got 9 wins in round 1, and 7 of those have been under a minute. Or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 7. 7 wins under a minute. Like, Kyle Krutschmer should just keep his distance, play it cool. He trains at American Kickboxing Academy, but
the 5'8" guy should keep his distance.
He's 5'8", right? So yeah.
How's he gonna be keeping his distance with those 68-inch alligator?
Get on the inside. Sorry, just get on the inside. You got to get those double legs. He's like a
you have to Levon has to not breathe. Your chest has to be against Levon's the entire fight. That's what it has.
If he get out of the first round, he wins this fight. That's pretty much what I'm saying. American Kickboxing.
Both guys might slow down. I mean, because Kyle really slowed down in that 3rd round against Cameron. Like, he was exhausted.
I think that could have went either way. I rewatched that fight, and just because Cameron left his hands down in that 3rd round doesn't mean he won.
I know.
I think Kyle might have even edged that out, but it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Kyle's a lot better than what people think. He's only 6 wins. He has no amateur background, but he's a very decorated wrestler. Like 198-30 folk style wrestling record. He has almost 200 wins in whatever folk style wrestling is. I don't even know the rules in that, but
sounds cool.
Yeah, I'll go to a folk style wrestling fight, but
it's amazing how losing without style, I guess you could say, because of how he lost, has affected his odds here. Because
where's he training though? Where's he training?
Kyle is training, I believe,
it's solved though. American Kickboxing Academies, they're not in business right now, so
I think they've reopened.
Maybe he wants to exchange a tour or something. Like we don't know where he's training right now.
I believe they've started to reopen, particularly for their pros.
Maybe, but I know he's got rounds in with Khabib. Like, he's a main training partner with Khabib.
So, and that's so Kyle. Deal. Kyle here it's a pick'em fight here, and I think this is a opportunity here to really jump on it. We've seen a couple times over in PFL. There was the dancer guy. I'm trying to think of his name, but he had an 18-1 record as well. A lot of early finishes. And came in and got pretty exposed by Ahmed Aliyev, I believe it was.
Even Alex De Silva in the UFC. He's like 22-1, but like 20 of his wins were in round 1. So
so I like Kyle here as a pick'em. I think that maybe they know something we don't, the odds makers, but I'm gonna take the known commodity here.
I don't see him losing 2 in a row. Free info right now. Kyle really should win this.
Yeah, I agree.
I like how they're getting a Georgian fighter. Look at the Georgian fighters, how good they've been.
Yeah, particularly
now Bellator has a signature Georgia fighter, so they need one.
Exactly. So I'm all about it. We're on to the main card here, making pretty good time here. I'd love to start keeping these to, about 90 minutes or less. I think that's about what we should be doing, and I think this is a good flow we've got going. So on to the next fight here, Demarcus Jackson versus Mark Leminger. Weird it's on the main card, but I like both these guys. I was wrong about Demarcus Jackson in his last fight. I'll get to that in a second. I'm going to start on Mark Leminger. Again, we got 6'1" versus 5'8", but the reach advantage is on Demarcus Jackson's side. So 2.5-inch reach advantage of that. But Mark Leminger, 6'1", 28-year-old out of Wisconsin, 11-3 now. Very, very, well-built welterweight, though. Big guy for sure. Fighting out of Chosen Few Gym. Coming off 2 straight losses. However, it was Yaroslav.
Lucas Brennan, Chosen Few.
Yeah, exactly. A couple of fighters on this card. So Leminger and Brendan, they look like they're related and they fight together. So imagine that. Yaroslav Amosov was one of his losses where Yaroslav really showed off his stand-up. One of the few times where his stand-up was the case for why he won the fight. Opened him up real bad. Kept landing that ground and pound. Got dominated in the wrestling, and that's Leminger's bread and butter usually. Then he lost to Julio Wilson. Julio Willis. I apologize. Really close fight. I really like Julio Willis quite a bit. And Julio Willis was just more active, especially on the feet. Volume can get to Mark Leminger. I also think a little bit of movement issues for Leminger. He's kind of moves like Frankenstein a little bit. Moves like a grappler, plodding footwork at times. And, that definitely is, I think, an area Demarcus Jackson could possibly exploit here. I do think that on the feet, Demarcus Jackson has a slight advantage, and it's mostly due to his speed and athleticism. And he has a reach advantage, which is always interesting from a 5'8" guy versus a 6'1" guy. But, I do think that other than that, Leminger has quite the advantage with regards to the wrestling. I think that Leminger can get on top. Can really make things rough. It could look very similar to the Graczyk-Bosnian fight, in my opinion, where Demarcus was just not the better grappler and got a little bit dominated and controlled in that. And then towards the third round was a little bit gassed. So I think that when the wrestling really is the forefront of the attack, it can wear down Demarcus. So I like Leminger here quite a bit. I don't think he gets a finish, but I think it's a decision and possibly Demarcus Jackson's last fight with Bellator.
Okay, so you can hear me right now.
Yes.
Okay, I might return this mic because it's a piece of crap. I think
no problem.
So I'm gonna get my money back, and yeah, this is a very competitive fight as well. Like I love Mark Leminger. I thought he was gonna blossom in Bellator, but
me too.
He got matched up with some very tough competition. Who is fighting on this card? Yaroslav Amosov, 25-0, and who else did he lose to? Jalal Willis, who's like 2-0 in Bellator, 3-0, like
really solid,
really good competition. And I love betting on fighters who have had losses to very good competition because they're only going to learn from that, and especially if they've looked good in those fights. If they've had moments versus good competition, like that.
You can't really say in the Amosov fight, Amosov just kind of ran away with it. But definitely the Willis fight, there's a round Leminger won, and he was competitive throughout it.
Yeah, I think it was 29-28. So
absolutely, yeah.
I really like Mark's chances in this. I think he's facing a Bellator debutant, or no, he's fought once in Bellator.
Yeah, Demarcus Jackson fought once in Bellator against the Bosnian.
Yeah, he lost to Austin Vanderfort Graczyk, who beat Demarcus. Yep. And that's what made me bet Graczyk, because I'm like, this guy looked very competitive against a very good fighter. So, and when you're making a promotional debut, there's a lot of butterflies and like just emotions are involved. So yeah, he's obviously got that out of the way. He's making his sophomore debut in Bellator, but Mark is on I think Mark Leminger's on a do or die fight here. He's 1-2 in Bellator. He might get cut after this. And Demarcus Jackson really isn't the most talented fighter. I like both fighters, to be honest, but I can see it going either way, but I'm going to side with Demarcus Jackson.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, not Demarcus Jackson, Mark Leminger. Sorry.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, giving that free information away again. But Mark Leminger, again, it's really nice to see these close odds throughout this card. Really gives you an opportunity to put together your reads, and this is a 2-fight parlay or even singles throughout, and you can get away with some good profit. -120 for Mark Leminger, -110 for Demarcus Jackson. So I love it.
Yeah, we gotta watch the weigh-ins. Is this a catchweight? There's so many catchweights fights on this friggin' Bellator. Did you notice?
Yeah, I did. This is at 170 currently, but
Okay.
both guys have, or I know Demarcus has fought recently, so maybe there's a chance that it's
And
not. But
Mark, I thought Mark fought. Oh yeah, he did fight Amosov,
yeah,
and that was a
yeah, it was a cut that stopped it.
Yeah.
That's what I'm
So
saying.
when you're in the cage with somebody that good, who might be a future champion, like I don't know, it just says a lot, man. Like I don't think that Marcus Jackson can say that. Like his competition isn't as high caliber, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
I'm surprised the odds are as close as they are, but 2 straight losses will do that. So,
Yeah.
next fight
We
here
got women's.
is women's flyweight fight. Vanessa Porto, the veteran, now 37 years old, making her, I believe, Bellator debut here. Taking on
Second fight in Bellator.
Okay, second fight in Bellator,
She
taking on
lost to Liz
Alara.
Carmouche.
Yep, that's right. Taking on Alara Joanna, known as Arya Stark, nickname. 9-5, trains with the Pitbull brothers. 27 years old. If there's one thing I can say about the 9-5 Alara, she scraps. Kana Watanabe, she went out swinging throughout and kind of stopped her with 21 seconds left in the fight. But that's a lot of
versus Beck Rawlings too.
Yeah, it's a lot of really good experience with Kana. Got a knee bar on Beck Rawlings. Other than that, hasn't faced.
Wait, was she an underdog? Sorry, was she like just press the plus there?
Yeah,
plus 175.
Plus 170.
Okay, yeah, really good.
And then Kana Watanabe, we've seen how good she is, and she was a near even against Kana Watanabe. I remember I bet quite
good
heavily
money on Kana. Hopefully you took Kana.
Yeah, I bet a huge amount of money on Kana in that fight. Yeah. I remember that.
I love Kana, man. She's cashed so many times for me.
Yeah, that was crazy to me. But she's definitely a scrapper.
This girl, holy crap!
Yeah, she's definitely a scrapper. And then Vanessa is a veteran, 37 years old at this point for the Brazilian. Definitely very well conditioned. Has a win over Invicta flyweight champion now, Karina Rodriguez. That's a really good win. Has a win. It went to a decision against Liz Carmouche in her debut. It was on the short end, but still looked good. Finished Mariana Moraes, who we've seen over in World Series of Fighting. Yep. Finished her.
A lot of girls in UFC have wins over her.
Yeah. Milana Dilduva, who was not bad back in the day. She finished her in the third round with body kicks. So Vanessa Porto has a lot of really good wins. It's just
and she's lost to Cyborg and Amanda Nunes. If you keep going down,
I'm
pretty sure she's lost to two of the best in the world.
Yeah, it's just that at 37 years old, and that
or is this a different girl?
This is a different girl. Amanda Nunes.
Amanda Nunes is Cyborg.
And she lost to Amanda Nunes very early, which was very impressive. But yeah, it is the Amanda Nunes. So. Just wanted to make sure.
Cyborg too, but maybe I'm thinking of somebody else.
Either way, yeah. I mean, definitely has faced a ton of really impressive competition. She's the veteran. In my opinion, she should be able to control this fight with mostly grappling. She lost to Cyborg as well. Yeah. So yeah, I mean,
and it was a decision. She didn't get finished.
Right. This girl's not afraid of anybody, but Alara gets in there. She mixes it up for sure, and train with the Pitbull brothers, will be very ready. I'm just going to take the veteran Vanessa Porto by decision.
What are the odds on this one?
Ridiculous. If I'm betting this, and I will because one of my plays with women's MMA is when it's over plus 200, I bet the dog. Alara is a plus 350 underdog against Vanessa Porto.
You have Vanessa Porto winning, but you're going to be betting Joanne.
If I were suggesting to bet this, I would say bet Joanne. I'm not touching Porto at that price, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, so I think the market's just putting her in that high of odds because of her debut losing to Liz Carmouche. She is a veteran, but Joanne is a veteran at the same time. It's like
and she's been in Bellator longer, and it's just I don't know. I've got a weird feeling about this. I'm not sure if I'll bet the dog or not. My official pick is Porto. I'm not betting anywhere near that. I wouldn't bet half that price.
Do you know if Bellator does judges scorecards afterwards? Because in UFC you can look up the judges scorecards. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm not sure. It's hard to find them for sure.
And did you watch that Joanne fight with Kana Watanabe recently? And
yeah.
What do you think?
I remember watching it.
Did she win the first 2 rounds?
I mean, she started out strong in the first round, and then Watanabe got the wrestling going by the second and third round. So it was
So it might have been 1-1 going into the third, and that's saying a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think so, honestly, but it's been a while since I've
dominated the whole way through.
I think Kana won 30-27s.
Yeah, so I don't agree with those odds at all.
Those are rough odds.
Even though Vanessa Porto has beat good girls like Pearl Gonzalez, Karina Rodriguez,
it's still it's a steep price. I think we both agree there.
And Joanne, happy birthday, by the way. She just turned 27, June 6th, 3 days ago.
Absolutely. Yeah, happy birthday.
Joanne, happy birthday.
Yeah, absolutely. Were you saying something?
Oh, no, I just said belated. Happy belated birthday.
Yeah, no problem. So next fight, moving on to the 145 division featherweights here. Aaron Pico taking on Aidan Lee. This is the featured fight of the night. Really good fight. A 24-year-old and Aaron Pico, 7-3, has had all his stumbles on the main stage in front of everybody. And when he fails spectacularly. And when he achieves spectacularly. Taking on the 9-4 English prospect karate style fighter in Aidan Lee. We've got a 6-footer versus a 5'8" guy. 75-inch reach for Aidan Lee versus 70.5-inch reach. Aidan Lee, you said earlier with Kyle Krutschmer, keep the distance and keep it moving. That's what Aidan Lee needs to do in this fight. He needs to keep the distance, stay away from Aaron Pico, who has remembered he was a wrestler before going into MMA. He's used his wrestling a lot more in his last few fights, and that's what's making Aaron Pico so scary to people, in my opinion. Interestingly enough, Aidan Lee, it says his head coach is Tom Breeze, so that's a red flag for me.
Hopefully he can make the fight.
Right, fighting on Team Renegade, BJJ.
I noticed that too, and that got me worried right away.
Yeah, fighting on a 2-fight win streak for Aidan Lee, beating James Petley by head kick in the 3rd round in a Bellator fight back in September of 2020. Also had a rear naked choke in a Bellator London fight against Damian Frankowitz. So I'm not too familiar with either one of those guys. Did lose to Saul Rogers, and the way Saul Rogers beat him was control them with the grappling. And I think it was a closer fight than people think. Yeah, but I do think that Aaron Pico can follow a lot of that game plan, and I do think Aaron Pico several levels up in the grappling from Saul Rogers, as well as in a lot of his other game. I just think Aaron Pico, 7-3. I get he's had these stumbles. I get he came in with all of the hype, Jackson Winklejohn, but he's really starting to put it together. Had a really, really impressive grounded pound finish of John DeJesus, came in the 2nd round, but he was really controlling that fight throughout, really showing that he doesn't need that quick 1st-round explosive finish to win. Seems to be putting together a good game plan and using his wrestling a lot. If he uses his wrestling against Aidan Lee, I don't see how Aidan Lee stops the takedowns of Aaron Pico, and I think Aaron Pico gets a ground and pound finish in round 2.
Do you remember that Adam Boric's fight? Did you watch that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And he's looked so much different since that fight, man. Like
both those fights, that fight and the Corrales fight. Everybody was ready to completely. He got to the lowest point he could without retiring from MMA at that point. One more loss like that, he was going to be done completely.
Yeah.
And the focus he's fought in the last 3 fights, including Solo Hatley, a guy I really do respect quite a bit. Solo Hatley's been able to knock off a few really highly touted guys himself. And I mean,
he comes from a good gym.
And it's his willingness to go to that wrestling so much in the John DeJesus fight again. he's a world-class wrestler, man. And when he uses it all together, he's really, I think, got title potential in his career.
Yeah, I think he learned so much in that Adam Bork's fight. Like, losing that probably increased his career more than winning it, because
Agreed.
Like, he's on a 3-fight win streak here. He learned so much in that fight, man. And I love Adam Bork. Aaron Pico, sorry. Aaron Pico is he's just like one of those guys where it looks like he never gets pissed off. Like, he's just so down to earth. I know he spends a lot of time with horses. I think he owns like a farm or something, or his parents do. Aidan Lee is an Englishman. We know Leon Edwards is fighting this weekend. English MMA is on a hot streak lately, but I think Aaron Pico has really learned from those past fights. He's such a decorated wrestler. If you look through his wrestling accolades, like, you can't find many other fighters to equal up to those same wrestling accolades.
He was a round
he's not even winning by board decisions. He's winning by knockouts.
And he was a round away from going to Olympics as a 20-year-old.
Yeah, he was an Olympic runner-up, wasn't he?
As a 20-year-old, he was a round
Olympic Olympic trials.
Right. He was a round away from going to the Olympics as a 20-year-old.
At 20. Right. Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah.
It's like he speaks to these horses and they give him guidance or something. Like, horses are very
he does a weird like horse like matador thing when he wins. You've seen that celebration he does? Like, it's like a horse move, I think.
He loves horses, man, I'm telling you. And they're mystical creatures.
Absolutely.
Horses. Like,
absolutely.
You can learn a lot from horses. Like, just even
do you have anything else to say about this fight before we move on to the
I'm gonna just go Aaron Pico is the man. I love this guy. Aidan Lee, I also like too, though. Like, I love English fighters. I love Michael Bisping. I love European fighters in general, like Yuri Petraka, Marvin Vettori this weekend. But
Yuri Petraka's Czech.
That's European, right?
Oh, I thought you said English. I'm sorry.
Sorry, I just said European fighters.
Okay, yeah. Okay,
I just know European fighters have got like a shit under the stick, but like they're starting to finally like blossom. And Aaron has been knocked out brutally twice, so you can never forget those moments. But
in the other fight he wasn't knocked out and he was rocked and then submitted
against Solo.
No, Zach Freeman.
Oh, Zach Freeman, yeah.
Zach Freeman doesn't look great. So yeah, I mean, we've got another. I mean, Aaron Pico's going Aaron Pico with the odds -500.
What the hell?
It's just you can't bet Aaron Pico fights. It's just
he's lost -8. No, sorry, -265 he's lost, and -585 he's lost. So
what was he against Zach Freeman?
Was that amateur or something? I don't think they even came out with odds for that one.
Okay, that was his first fight in Bellator.
Bellator, New York City. Yeah, they didn't come out with odds.
Yeah, I've got to imagine he would have been close to a -1100.
-1,000. Yeah.
Like, he was so. I mean, Aaron Pico's had MMA articles written about him since he was 16 years old. Yeah, they're talking about at 16 now. He's going
to be the next John Jones. That's what people said.
Yeah. So I mean, but we've seen guys like him. We've seen guys like Sergio Pettis who've had that early.
Skip on this fight. Skip.
Yeah, obviously.
There's so many fights this week with PFL, UFC, and that's one of my top 10 MMA guidelines. If you don't feel comfortable on a fight, or if you don't feel the odds are what they should be, just go to the next. Just go to the next, guys.
This is an interesting fight. I just had to peek at the odds. It's one at 175 now because Paul Daly said I will not make 170 anymore. So 175. Paul Semtex Daly taking on the ass-kicking machine, Jason Jackson. 30-year-old Jason Jackson. I will start with 14-4 overall. 6'1", 77.5-inch reach. Really good size. Had a tough, gritty decision win over Neiman Gracie. I do think he did win that fight for sure. Coming off, I believe, 4 straight decision wins, coming to Kichi Kunamato, Jordan Meehan, Benson Henderson, and Neiman Gracie. So we got 3 former UFC competitors, and then Neiman Gracie, who's a very legit wrestler and grappler himself at 10-1. So yeah, since having that split decision loss to Ed Ruth, in his Bellator debut, he's gone 4-1 overall, and now he gets a really interesting matchup here against Paul Semtex Daly. We know what Paul Daly's going to do at this point, coming off that really incredible fight with Sabah Hamasi, where he was almost put out a couple times, and then came back in the second round and put Sabah away with emphasis. Really showed me that Paul Daly, is not done yet at all. At 38 years old, that power is still very there. Has a gas tank still as well. I think. Hey,
Melissa Woody, congrats!
Oh yeah, thank you, Melissa. Appreciate it. Made her way over here. Good to see you.
Tell a friend. Tell your friend to tell a friend, and tell your friend.
She will. I appreciate you, Melissa. Thanks for joining us. But yeah, this is Jason Jackson, very well conditioned guy, very, very physical, well-rounded as well, has had his early adversity and really seemed to learn from it. The split decision to Ed Ruth, I really think he could have won that fight. I went back and watched that fight as well. The decision wins have all been very clear for the most part.
I wish it was a 5-rounder. I wish it was.
Yeah, but I do think gas, physicality, athleticism are all on Jason Jackson's side here. And I do think that he's going to look really good in this fight. I think that he's just got to stay away from particularly the left hand of Paul. Obviously, he's got power in both hands and in his head kicks, but I just think Jason fighting out of Sanford MMA, I love the camp. I just think he's got great momentum right now. 30 years old, he's entering that prime. 38 is a factor here, I think, for Paul Daly. Sabah had been knocked out 5-6 times in his career. So he did look good, but there are the wins like the Lorenz Larkin fight that really do scare me with Paul, where I was so confident in Lorenz Larkin with the bigger side. So
confident in Lorenz Larkin. I taught you that last time.
Yeah, I don't know.
Remember
I was, but I'm once again confident in Jason Jackson here. I'm going to take Jason Jackson for a decision.
Yeah,
I don't see him getting a finish here. I just think that Paul Daly is just too tough, and he is good defensively with his grappling, and so I think it's another decision for Jason, the ass-kicking machine Jackson.
Yeah, for sure. Like, look at Jason Jackson's track record. He just beat Benson Henderson, former UFC champion. He beat Neiman Gracie, and I don't think it's controversial at all. He did beat Neiman Gracie.
I bet Neiman Gracie
was going to Bellator and just congratulate Neiman on the win, but they didn't.
So I bet Neiman Gracie. Jason Jackson won that fight.
Yeah. Oh, you think Jason? Yeah, exactly, man.
Yeah.
I think I bet Neiman Gracie too because he was an underdog.
Yeah, he was a slight underdog.
And at the end of the day, like, I have no problem with Jason. Jason Jackson won that fight. I don't care what anybody says. It wasn't controversial. Even Jordan Meehan, I thought Jason Jackson was going to lose that fight.
Yeah, I've faded him a lot as well.
I'm going to finally jump on the Jason Jackson train. I'm not gonna get lost on the railway this time. I'm jumping on it. Paul Daly, left hand Larry or left hook Larry, whatever you want to call him.
Literally,
like he is a madman with that left hand. I'm very good at predicting Paul Daly fights.
Yeah, but, the power's the last thing to go with these guys. So at 38, he's still gonna have that power.
Yeah, and that's one thing that worries me because he has the equalizer. But
right. But Jason so does Melvin Manhoef.
If he's smart and he comes from a good game, a good training camp. We Sanford saw Claudio Puels really shine against Jordan Levitt last week. Henry Hooft is a mastermind. Jason Jackson's on another level. Those Jamaican fighters you don't want to bet against either. Even if they're getting DQ'd, they're going to win. So Jamaica has like a lucky streak going. He's on a crazy win streak. Paul Daly's he said he was going to retire. So when people say they're going to retire, it's hard to back them.
He might not even make 175.
He
might not even make 175. I gotta like, if he's that emphatic on not going to 170, 175 isn't that far away. It's like,
no,
he's going to be cutting more weight than
he's going to get
opponent.
taken down. We saw how easy Jason Jackson got the takedown on Naaman Gracie, and that's a decorated BJJ artist. Paul Daly got taken down by Michael Page with ease. So if Jason Jackson is smart and wants to fight boring, he can win this 30-27, but obviously he's going to stand a bit. He's going to test his striking. I'm hoping he doesn't get knocked down. I'm a huge fan of Paul Daly, but I just think his time is behind him. And this is a big turnaround. Like,
it's a tough matchup, way tougher matchup than Sabah Homasi as well.
Yeah, it was 2 months ago he fought Sabah and nearly got knocked out.
Took some shots, yeah.
Yeah,
you
can't trust somebody like that.
Yeah, and Jason Jackson.
What are the odds on that fight?
Yeah, Jason Jackson is a minus 225 favorite. I'm okay with that.
You think it'd be more of a pick-em? No, I don't know.
I think
225.
I think that everybody who's been fading him, I think we're all learned the lesson at the same point here, which means that he's going to lose probably, because all of us that have been fading him finally like, oh yeah, we get it now. This Jason Jackson, he's probably going to shit that this is.
But at the same time, Jason Jackson has never been knocked out. He did get TKO'd. It was an ankle injury. You guys got to realize that.
Yeah, exactly.
People see knockout and they think, oh, he's been unconscious. You got to look into that. It was an ankle injury.
I really think Jason Jackson should take this.
He should win this for sure. Sanford MMA, I'm high. Yeah. I'm really high on Sanford.
I agree. And now we are to
Luna's gonna join you.
It's okay. Now we're to the main event of the evening, Luna. It is the 170-pound Bellator welterweight championship of the world, and it is between Douglas Lima and Yaroslav Amosov. Yaroslav Amosov is the Ukrainian fighter out of Kiev. The challenger is 27 years old, nearly 28 years old, 170, 5'11", 75-inch reach, fighting out of the Ukraine, 25-0 for the Dynamo. That is right away where you're going to start, right away what you're going to notice, Luna. As you can tell, 25-0, not a lot of fighters are 25-0, Luna, so that's very impressive. Khabib obviously retired at 29-0. If Yaroslav, first of all, going into this fight, Bellator is promoting the hell out of him. Bellator would love for him to win this fight, go to 26-0, and eventually pass that 29-0 mark. And we'll see. This guy is a Sambo specialist of the Ukraine, has good stand-up, but even better grappling for sure. Fighting out of Gurmis as his camp. Not really familiar with that camp, but he's won all 25 of his fights in the UFC. In Bellator, I'm sorry, he has wins over Gerald Harris, Eric Silva, both former UFC competitors. First guy to submit Dave Rickles, Ed Ruth, stop Mark Leminger, as we talked about earlier, with the strikes in the cut. It is coming off of a split decision win of Logan Storley, a fellow undefeated fighter. And in the third round, Logan Storley got his back, nearly finished the fight in several occurrences with jaw locks and a rear naked choke. And even at the end, in the final 10 to 15 seconds, Logan Storley was landing strikes all over Yaroslav Amosov. And that is not exactly what you want to see at the end of a fight for sure. I personally did think Logan Storley won that fight 2-1. I thought Logan Storley got the first round.
Listen to Aaron.
The third round.
Talking about?
I think there's an argument for sure. So, getting outstruck by Logan Storley at the end of a fight is not a good look.
He out-grappled him 2 rounds. Watch that fight again. He out-grappled him.
I
watched it live. Okay.
Oh wow, you watched it live. Oh my god, I watched all these fights.
Fucking heavy. I'm like, this is a unanimous 29-28. How was it a split? How the fuck was that a split?
I mean,
it was like Marvin versus Israel. It shouldn't have been a split.
But either way, Yaroslav. Okay, do you want to talk? Go ahead. Here, let me just get off my channel and have you take over. Go ahead.
No,
talk.
it's just how
I can't speak. I can't speak. I can't speak. You're gone for half my fucking breakdown. You pop in and then you don't even allow me to finish my sentence. This is crazy. Go ahead.
No, it's just I just do not see Logan Storley winning that. I don't know. I'm pretty good at judging, and I've watched that fight 2 times now, and Amosov won that 29-28. I don't care what anybody says. But yeah, you do. Yeah, finish it.
Dude,
finish.
It's so hard to talk over somebody.
I know. I'm sorry. I interrupt too much.
It's so hard.
I know. I'm sorry. Okay, so we got
I don't know how
Lima,
to put
32-8.
dude. Come on.
Okay.
God damn, man. It was a close fight. That's all I was saying. And that he gassed at the end and was getting landed on by Logan Storley, who has the stand-up of nobody.
I think it's because I had a lot of
trying
money.
to say.
I had a lot of money on Amosov, and I did not think that was
go. Dude, just finish the breakdown. Holy fuck, man.
I understand. I hear what you're saying. I understand. It was close.
Yes, it was close. Holy fuck, man.
Sorry.
Dude, this is crazy.
We're on the main event.
Yeah, exactly. And we were doing so good. Why do you have to fucking talk over me for the whole main event?
Sorry, man.
Dude, it's really irritating.
I have a different opinion on that fight.
That's fine. How have we not we've been talking about different opinions the whole time? That's totally fine. The right guy won the fight. Amosov had some struggles, particularly in the 3rd round, with his gas, with his stand-up. That's all I was trying to say. He's now taking on the toughest opponent of his career in Douglas Lima. That's all I was trying to say. It's just crazy, man. I get it.
I agree with everything you're saying. It's definitely the toughest test he's faced.
Right.
Even though he's 25-0.
Right. And he's 25-0, and he had his worst quote-unquote performance in his last fight, and he still ended up coming out on top. The rightful guy got the split. All I'm saying is the way it ended is probably why some judges misremembered the 1st round and ended up scoring it towards Storley. The 1st round was close. I agree Amosov won it. 2nd round, Amosov dominated. There's no doubt about it. And the 3rd round, Storley dominated. So the 1st round was close, but still in Amosov's favor. And in his worst performance,
that Storley won. That's
I was trying to explain the argument for it.
Okay.
All I was explaining is why it was a split decision and how I could see somebody incorrectly scoring it for Storley. And I just couldn't get through that. And then Douglas Lima coming off.
You said Storley won, in my opinion. That's what triggered me. So,
yeah, if only I could have.
It's all good.
I'm gonna just Douglas Lima coming off of a 185 fight against Musashi. His biggest problem in many of his fights is that he does not unload. I think that volume could be an issue for Lima if he allows Amosov to crowd him and get the fight to the ground. But I actually do think Douglas Lima has the advantage overall in this fight. I'm taking Douglas Lima. I'm pretty much all set on this breakdown. So any thoughts you have, I'll take Douglas Lima by decision. It's close.
No, I really don't have a good pick in this fight, man. Douglas Lima is a world-time vet. He's been in the game for so long. Yaroslav Amosov really hasn't faced the same competition, even though he's 25-0. You got to dig deep into the names of the fighters each opponent has faced. Douglas Lima even has lost to Matt Brown back in the day, if you can believe that. Back in 2007, Matt Brown beat Douglas Lima. So Matt Brown's the uncrowned Bellator welterweight champion, in my opinion. But yeah, Douglas Lima also lost to Ben Askren back in the day. That shows you how long he's been doing MMA. He avenged his loss against Rory. He went up to middleweight to try to get a 2-time championship in Bellator. I find these fighters that go up in weight class, like Israel versus Jan, the bigger fighter has more to lose. Like, I'm not letting this guy come up that's 15 pounds lighter, 20 pounds lighter, beat me. You know what I mean? I think there's more to lose for the heavier fighter. And Gegard Mousasi honestly almost lost that fight. It was 48-47 on 2 scorecards. So 1 round, and Lima could be a 2-time champion right now. But Gegard Mousasi is just so big, man. He used to fight at 205. He's a huge athlete. He doesn't look like the biggest athlete, but he is. Like, ask Douglas Lima. And yeah, Amosov. Honestly, I don't think I'm gonna just enjoy this fight as a fight fan. Seeing Douglas Lima at these odds though is kind of intriguing because I don't know if you're ever gonna see him at these odds again. Like, it's a pretty close fight. Am I right? And odds wise?
Yep, it is very close. I'm not sure if Amosov's gone 5 rounds and he was slowing down after 3 with Logan Storley.
Yeah. So the odds kind of give it.
Like, yeah, the odds are at -120 for Lima. So it's nearly a pick 'em. Money seems to be coming in on Amosov. You're going to see a 25-0 record. I wouldn't be surprised if he's a favorite by fight night.
Yeah, man. I honestly agree. Like, I think Amosov should be a bigger favorite Lima should be a bigger favorite in my opinion. But
yeah, I mean, Lima, once Gegard started to gas, the wrestling wasn't working. He picked up the volume a little bit. I think he learns from his losses often. And
we're gonna see 2 fighters this weekend coming off championship fights in a bigger weight class to become 2-time defending champions. With Israel and Douglas Lima. So yeah. I think both of them will come down, and I just can't see them both losing consecutive fights.
Yeah, I think I like
to see happen.
Yeah, I like both of them without giving up too much information, but I like Douglas Lima here. I do think that the price makes sense based on the opponent and everything. I just think that I'm going to take the experience. I think there's going to be a size advantage on Douglas Lima's side. And
maybe weight
advantage, and stand-up wise, Yaroslav is not close to Lima in my opinion. And so that is
PFL thoughts.
We can go over that real quick. Part of this channel is passion. We'll argue at points. I'd rather not have it be about who's talking. But at the end of a 90-minute, this will happen at points. But it is what it is. Didn't really want it to happen on the first episode, if I'm being honest. But can't control, I guess, when, either way. It's frustrating a little bit. But, for PFL, I do really like Brendan Longahan over Tyler Diamond. And I know those odds are still like in the -260 range, which I was surprised about. I'm sure that money has been moving towards Longahan, though, but definitely like Longahan in his fight. Clarissa Shields at -300 is going to get a knockout. I don't have a doubt in my mind with the level of competition that Brittany Elkin has lost to. I get this is her MMA debut, but she's hits too hard. In my opinion, Anthony Pettis is out with the illness.
Oh, shit. Wow. So, I didn't even know that.
So Natan Schultz is stepping in to face Alex Martinez.
Wow.
So tough break for
Anthony Pettis is done then. Like, he's not going to make the playoffs.
He's taking on Raul Manafio on the June 25th.
Okay. If you can get a finish, he'll make it.
Yeah. I do like Marcin Held over Olivier Aubin Mercier. I like Marcin Held in that fight. Then the rest of the fights I think are pretty close and kind of priced out for me. So this is one where, a lot of them I'm going to be actually taking a pass on. What are your thoughts?
Yeah. Clarissa Shields opened up as a -600 favorite, and she's down to -270. So,
crazy.
A lot of money has came in on Brittany Elkin, and the bookies usually win. So, I'm thinking Clarissa Shields is going to win her MMA debut, and PFL expects that as well. Yeah, I can't believe Anthony Pettis is out. That's sad. I was really
it was an illness, so maybe a weight cut issue or some food possible.
And he wanted to get 3 fights in. Like I don't understand.
Well, he's playing on June 25th, so must not be anything too bad.
Hopefully he makes that. Alex Martinez, huge underdog against Natan Schultz. Natan Schultz did just lose by huge favorite odds against who was it? Who did Natan Schultz lose to? It was a huge underdog beat him.
Yeah, I don't remember, but I don't remember who it was to, but I do remember.
It was Marcin Held, who you are confident in.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and I had Marcin in that fight. That's right.
Yeah, and this was a lot of underdogs cash on that inaugural 2021 season, including Bubba Jenkins, who's fighting again. And I'm all in on Bubba. I love Bubba Jenkins. Or is he not fighting this card? Where is he?
He's taking on Bobby Moffitt.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. I like Bubba there. Bobby has had a few splits in his career. That Bryce Mitchell fight was very close. But Bubba beating Lance Palmer, 2-time divisional champion, I really like him to get this done. And if I had to give one free play at even money, probably Chris Wade at -105, taking on the PFL debutant Arman Espanov. I looked into Arman's record, and it's really nothing to brag about. And Chris Wade has fought. He's been matched up with like really tough competition.
Yeah, and, he's not exciting, but he's very consistent.
Exactly, and that's the type of fighters you want to bet on.
Yep.
That that can go a strong 3 rounds and shine. So, Chris Wade, let's go.
Yep. So that's a little PFL primer at the end. I just had to highlight Zach's emoji. This was during as I was yelling.
Oh, when you got here. Oh, I know.
Zach should know this.
I can't cut you off anymore.
I mean, it'd be great. I do my best not to cut you off. You do your best not to cut me off.
Even my friends say I cut them off. Sometimes I get pissed off.
Yeah, it's okay. And like, I'm very direct, so it's all good. We argue, we get back together. Like, this is part of, like, this is not part of the channel that we yell at each other, but it will happen at points. Like,
exactly. Let it happen. Let her anger out a bit.
Yeah, what hopefully it will help is that it won't happen in the future, because the other 10 fights we did, the other 2 as it's happening right now. But yeah, no, Zach, I love you too. But no, Zach knows me. Zach knows the fire. I will always have the fire.
Your most confident Bellator pick before leaving?
Sure. We'll do
if it's even money, like something people can actually bet on. That's not -200 or.
I mean, I like Kyle Krutschmer at pick'em odds, just based on the level of wrestling difference. I just think that I leave on sub 1 minute finishes against a bunch of 2 and 4. Like that would be mine. That and Alex Polizzi. I like the kind of wrestler parlay of Alex Polizzi, Krutschmer, and Leminger. That's going to be good value right there.
And Kyle Krutschmer. That's an MMA guideline of mine is the opponent, even though they're undefeated, you have to look into their opponent's records. Even though they're 9-0, you think they're like this unstoppable force. But
also, you don't want to just see one next to every single win. Like, because that's just not realistic.
All round one finishes.
In like a minute. Like, it's like, unless this guy is Frankie Ngannou of the 45 or 70 division, like, he most likely is getting a little bit padded, which I do believe happens more so with European MMA prospects than American MMA prospects. So that's another thing. You see these Brazilians, it also happens with, and Americans it happens with too, but I think Americans it happens with the least amount, if I'm being honest, from what I can recall, really. I mean, a lot of times these guys get right into Bellator early and get exposed, like, brought up that way. But either way, Brandon, anything that you'd like to plug with MMA Wagers before we take off, where people can find you?
Just hit me up, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, MMA Wagers. We got a stacked week this June.
My birthday weekend.
Week. Yeah, like it's crazy, man. PFL, Bellator, UFC, Rising on Sunday. Is there a bare knuckle? I don't think there's a bare knuckle.
No
but
bare knuckle, no. Yeah, there's an Invicta and Atomweight tournament on Friday night.
Apparently, the fans got to choose the fighters,
which is good. I'm all about it, man. It's a good tournament. Lindsey Van Zandt.
I doubt odds will come out, but I'm still going to be tuning in.
Yeah, absolutely. And where can people find you for more info?
Yeah, just betting? MMA Wagers, man. Make sure to give Aaron the dog a like on YouTube. He's starting off his channel. And big things are to happen.
Yeah, and it's just this first episode, it had a little bit of everything, had us not be able to hear each other, which has never happened, but
yeah, what the hell?
It had had the interruption and then the outburst that we get through and we keep going. But Brandon knows I have nothing but respect for him, and it's just at times that at times we just got to butt heads, and then it's how we learn. But honestly, I think everybody
everybody knows.
Yeah, exactly. We really are, and that's how I am with all my friends. I'm married to all my friends. So, but honestly, thank everybody who's been super supportive this week as I've made my
especially everybody that commented, like Zach, Melissa, Meta Mifra. I've never heard of him, but
yeah. And then I haven't been able to see my Facebook comments because they don't show up for some reason on StreamYard. But I'm sure people have been over there as well. But yeah, it's been really exciting / nerve-wracking to start over on my own here, but I really do want to provide an inclusive and intelligent place for people to talk all things MMA. Again, tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I will be breaking down the UFC 263 pay-per-view headlined by Israel Adesanya and Marvin Vettori, Davidson Figueiredo, Brandon Moreno 2, and Nate Diaz and Leon Edwards for 5 rounds. Breaking down those fights in the rest of the card with Brian Battle from The Ultimate Fighter. Ultimate Fighter just had its second episode yesterday. Go check that out.
I love how Brian Battle gets on every episode. Like he was,
man. He was right in the middle. I like minutes. Yeah, shout out to Brian during the UFC 261 watch party there. He was the one who was like, "So who you got?" He was the one who was like doing the analysis there.
And he asked Mitch Raposo, like, what got you into MMA? Like he's becoming a MMA interviewer.
He also plugged the podcast to everybody in the house. So several of those guys will be making appearances on the channel.
Oh, that's awesome.
So big things are
predictions. I got Andre Petrosky and that Ukrainian guy that won last night. Those are my two. But I honestly saw Andre Petrosky might have got too drunk and tried to double leg takedown somebody in the house. So maybe he lost. I don't know.
Yeah, who knows? All I know is that Brian's face looks pretty clean. So if he did lose, he didn't get hurt too bad inside the house.
I'm excited for that.
Yeah, we'll see. He's a closed book. But thank you all for joining me. I appreciate all the support. The people who before we even went live, I had likes on this video. I can't thank people enough for that. I got 30 plus subscribers before putting out a video. I'll be doing PFLs. I'll be doing LFAs. Hopefully I can do ones eventually, but those odds are tougher. UFCs are all going to be here. Contender series definitely are going to be on this channel. Everything I can break down, I will. Brandon will be joining me for a ton of those as well, but he's got his own life too. But for Aaron, for Chico, for Brandon of MMA Wagers, we're out. This is Aaron the Dog MMA, and our first episode is in the books. Thank you so much for joining us. Keep taking care of each other and cash those bets out there, people.